Rams fans, welcome in on this edition of Rams Showcase. We dig into the Rams offensive roster. Plus, no reunion, but is a trade still on the way? And later, the Rams have a quarterback battle. Heads up. Let's rock.
This is Rams Showcase with your host, Sheriff Joe Bags.
Yes, welcome into it, Rams Showcase. My name is Sheriff Joe Bags, at Sheriff Joe Bags, at Rams Showcase. That's where you follow along on socials, ramshowcase.com as well. We've also done it in the past before. We had Derek pop in and just an outlet. We wanted an outlet to let some of his Rams thoughts unfold, and ramshowcase.com is where we let that happen. There's a really awesome Aaron Donald piece that is up on the website. It's like a tribute from Derek. Absolutely awesome. Definitely be sure to check that out. And if you have some of those thoughts that you're trying to unleash onto the world as well, do it, dude. It's a good time. So, and sometimes I know I started Ram Showcase because I just had like too much Ram stuff bouncing around in my head all the time. I didn't have anywhere to put it. So lucky you. You get that stuff. We do have a decent amount to get into tonight. We'll hit the news here shortly. We also have some really solid fan quesos that we will dive into. But let's go ahead and begin here with a bit of an offensive breakdown. And what I'm doing here is we're just kind of going over the roster, and then I guess just some expectations on each position grouping here and what we're kind of looking at here. So we'll go ahead and start, of course, with the quarterback position. Quarterback Matthew Stafford, Jimmy Garoppolo, Stetson Bennett, and newly added Dresser Wynn are making up the arms of the group. But not really a lot to analyze here. Stafford is the quarterback. He's going to be the quarterback of the LA Rams, barring something tragic, which is definitely not anything that we're hoping for. Bad things happen. This is football. It's an aggressive sport. It's a violent sport. So things can happen. But we have some decent depth here as well. Jimmy Garoppolo, Steady B, Stet Benatar, and Dresser Win Baby. That is the grouping right now. Of course, as we head into July time officially, and we'll be getting into training camp here soon. It is nice to have someone, I will say, on the bench who has as much experience as a Jimmy Garoppolo. And I know not a lot of Rams fans are big into Jimmy Garoppolo. They're not happy he's here. They kind of still hold on to teams he's played for in the past as an emotional tie to Jimmy Garoppolo. But hey, he's a Ram now, so he's got Joe Bag's support. And again, it's just a really solid person to have as your backup quarterback with that much experience. Really can't go wrong with that. So Jimmy Garoppolo being on the Rams bench definitely does not hurt my feelings. It's kind of crazy though, because he like literally plays for all the teams that Rams fans despise the most, starting with, of course, the Patriots. Then you have, we know well from the 49ers, and then the Raiders, just like teams that Rams fans do not like. And so I think that, that Jimmy Garoppolo name has been tied to a lot of hatred, I think, in the past. But, he's been around for a little bit now, being the backup to number 9, and it's hard to get super upset about that because, again, Stafford's the guy, but at least we have somebody with experience back there. And not to say anything bad about Stetson Bennett. I have nothing negative to say about Stetson Bennett, but the experience just isn't really there. So I think that from a standpoint of just looking at the roster, looking at possible, situations where if we would need a backup to come in, having a guy that has, played in a Super Bowl, has been thrown to the ground by Aaron Donald in an NFC Championship game, that kind of experience is invaluable. You know what I mean? So I think that's good stuff there. Bennett, he's been around long enough. He probably has a really good feel for the offense. So I think like in a pinch, worst case scenario, I think that McVay could, like in a situation where maybe Stetson Bennett was going into a game as the starter, I think that McVay would be able to create a game plan for Stetson Bennett to still get it done. And again, that's largely because Stetson Bennett has been around for a few years now and at least has a solid understanding of what's going on in the offense and how this thing is running. You know what I mean? How this scheme is actually put together. So I think that it could happen. Worst case scenario, we could absolutely see Stet Benatar throw some rockets, man, because, I mean, let's face it, the arm talent is certainly there. Of course, we know how his career started. A lot of those weird issues with, taking some time away from football and all that stuff. But, I mean, you have a situation like that in a Rams team who is willing to keep you around for a while. I think that's flying colors for Stetson Bennett. That's kind of how I see it. Do we want to see Stetson Bennett be the starter for 17 games? Probably not. All right. But there's got to be a good sign that the team, even with how his career started in the NFL, that the team is still like, no, you're here. You're like, we're good. You're good. And he's making the roster too. It's not like he's getting, practice squatted and then just chilling. Like he's around, man. So that's pretty good stuff there. And then also the new addition of Dresser Wynn. We'll get into that a little bit later here. But Dresser Wynn recently added back to the roster. I hate to say this term because it feels almost rude, and I have no intentions of being rude to Dresser Wynn here, but it feels very Camp Armish to me, at least a preseason situation as we do get into the training camp and preseason time. We got to keep Nine's arm healthy, dude. So having more arms go. Matthew Stafford doesn't need to practice all that much, I'm sure. All right. Obviously, you got to get in there. You got to be loose and stuff like that. But I don't think there's a lot of football that Matthew Stafford's still trying to figure out and learn. So when we have more depth in our wide receiver room, which we actually don't have as much this year, it's just good to get everybody reps. When you have another arm out there, everybody gets more reps. That's a good thing. But Matthew Stafford, number 9, we are expecting, of course, to be our quarterback, at least for this year. We'll see what the future holds, man. But I ain't here to talk about that because we're heading into the 2025 NFL season for the Rams, and he's here today. And honestly, that's all I care about, man. Be in the present. This is what matters now. We could talk about Matthew Stafford leaving when Matthew Stafford decides to leave. That's kind of how I feel about that. Next up, the running back spot. We're going to start with K-Dub, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, Jarquez Hunter, Ronnie Rivers, and Cody Schrader making up the roster there. K-Dub, definitely the top-tier guy of this grouping. He should continue to get the bulk of the reps. He is going into the final year of his contract. We have not heard any updates yet on how those conversations are going. The last we heard is they were productive, they were positive. We heard that from Sean McVay. Then we haven't really heard much since. So it's one of those situations where we could get a deal any day. It could be happening as I'm talking to you now. You could be, watching this podcast after the fact that I'm done, and you could be like, this dummy doesn't even know, man. He already signed. He's here for 10 more years or whatever it happens to be. My guess would be 3, but either way. So K-Dub, obviously the guy, and I fully anticipate that he is still going to get the majority of the reps. I still think he's plus 50% of all of our carries. I think that we see that for sure. It does feel like the Rams are intentionally trying to make this group who has like just multiple guys who can get it done. So it feels like the Rams don't want to have a situation where if something happens to Kyron Williams on an injury front or anything like that, that they still have guys that they're comfortable with. And we are seeing that with the depth that is being built right now. We know that Blake Corum is a good player. We feel like Jarquez Hunter's a good player. Mr. Rivers out here, and then Cody Schrader as well. I mean, these are guys that we can at least put in the game and feel like the defense can't just only focus on pass now. Like we can still run the football. Running backs are good, and we've got a stable of them here that are really solid. Blake Corum definitely showed plenty of action last year that he can play ball, and the expectations I think going into this year should be that he should improve, right? I mean, that should always be the expectations from players from year 1 to year 2, more experience. You get an off season to kind of evaluate yourself. We saw Jared Verse do that really well. So hopefully that translates. But Blake Corum is another one of those guys who, I mean, obviously dealt with the injury, but should be good to go as we begin the season. Jarquez Hunter seems to be a little bit like the wild card in this situation, that we really don't know what the Rams offense is going to be with a Jarquez Hunter, or really what Jarquez Hunter is going to be for the Rams offense is, I think, the right way to say that. But because he's still, like I said, he's still just a wild card. Is he good at football? Absolutely. We know that. We've got eyeballs, dude. So we know he's a good player, but I think that Corum and Hunter, they're somewhat right now, in my brain, at least on the same level as far as talent and badassery, I think, is how I would say that. But I really do expect that at some point during the season, one of them is going to rise up. Well, it could be either. Like, I don't think that just because we had a new flashy, fun toy in Jarquez Hunter that we should forget that Blake Corum exists, because he absolutely in year 2 could really pop. And, that could just be an unfortunate situation for Jarquez Hunter, but that's not necessarily saying that it's going to be bad for Jarquez Hunter, because you got two dudes who can get it done, and you can never have too many running backs, man, especially running backs who can get it done. And if you are cycling those guys out, in and out like that, and they can get it done, that's just bad news for your defense, all right? Sorry about your linebackers' ankles, rest of the NFL, because we're coming for them, dude. Coming for them. Also, Ronnie Rivers and Cody Schrader, really solid depth options. Maybe lose out just being a numbers game. I don't think that the Rams would need 5 running backs going into the season. Do we keep 4? Possible. If we keep 4, I kind of tend to think that Ronnie Rivers would be the one that sticks around on top of that. But don't count out Mr. Schrader over here, man, because that kid's good at football as well. So definitely that's a kind of a battle to watch, I would say, as we get into training camp and preseason. Listen for the comments, man. I say this every year. Sean McVay is like, he does a lot of coach speak, a lot of above the neck and stuff like that, but I think that ultimately he does give us hints on certain things, and he'll unprompted give us a hint unless you kind of like watch everything like I do of like the Rams press conference. I know a lot of you do as well, but if you're really paying attention to that stuff, you can pick up his little subtle hints, even if it's just a facial expression. He'll got to get really serious on certain things. We saw that with the Cooper Kupp situation. We saw that with the Todd Gurley situation years ago. His face gets really serious, and it feels like he knows he's thinking about his words very carefully in those situations. But then there's also times where we get a question about just the secondary, and he's throwing in Emmanuel Forbes. You know what I mean? Like, he's making it a point to say certain guys' names. So I think that's a big thing here. I also forgot to write up my Joe Stradamus segment, but I've got it here, so we're going to talk about that. I'm saying that out loud so that hopefully I remember. If I don't, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. This thing's a steel trap, dude. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out. Let's head over to the offensive line. So, interesting group in here, man. So we'll start with A.J. Jackson, Steve Avila, Coleman Shelton, Kevin Dotson, Rob Havenstein, Warren McClendon, Dylan McMahon, David Quessenberry, DJ Humphreys, Justin Deddick, A.J. Arcuri, Bo Limmer, and K.T. Leviston. Some solid names here, man. I'm really loving the depth of this offensive line, especially with Quessenberry and Humphreys coming over. But those first 5 names that I said, those should be your starting lineup. So that's going to be Jackson, Avila, Shelton, K-Dot, and Big Rob. We need better nicknames for Steve, I think, man. I don't know if that's happened yet. Does anybody have any? I don't know. If you do, drop them, dude. And Coleman, I'm not sure if he's got any either. And AJ, Alaric, it's AJ. That's what he said to me very adamantly. He told me that he prefers AJ over Alaric. Looked me dead in the eyes and said it, man, in the scariest way possible, because that's a scary human being. He's huge, dude. Look at me, man. Come on. What am I supposed to what am I supposed to do here, man? But AJ Jackson, speaking of, he is experiencing some issues with those blood clots again, and we've seen, graphics and info and all this stuff coming out from camp and like from Maui camp and all that stuff. And according to those, and I want to take everything, I do want to take everything with a grain of salt here. According to some of those, we're seeing that Warren McClendon has been taking a lot of reps at left tackle. And I know that typically he's been, like, if you look back at, I just rewatched last year's preseason. Don't shut up. Okay, I know. But I also watched last year's preseason, and he was coming in at right tackle. So I know that that's kind of the situation, and I've gotten pushback on that before, of saying that I think that if A.J. Jackson has continued issues with this and needs to take some time off, that I think it would be Warren McClendon. And I've gotten a lot of pushback on that. A lot of people saying because he's a right tackle. I challenge back at that and say that the Rams don't have anybody except for like Bo Limmer, who only plays one position. Coleman Shelton, I guess, too. Most of these guys can play multiple positions. I mean, we saw Steve Avila start the year at center last year, dude, with Jonah Jackson pulling some other stuff as well, who's now gone. But I mean, that's the thing with this Rams offense. I think Big Rob is the only one that it's like, no, he's our right tackle. Because even when A.J. Jackson goes out, in fairness, if I was like maddening this thing right now, I would, slip over Big Rob, because Madden's just a video game and none of it's real. So you just take those skill sets, numbers and equations and algorithms and stuff, and put that at your left tackle spot, and you're looking pretty good. But that being said, I think that ultimately McClendon could very well be that guy. And maybe I'm wrong. That's totally fine. I'm okay with being wrong. Maybe it is DJ Humphries. Guess who's got a lot of football experience? Yeah, DJ Humphries, dude. And David Quessenberry as well. I think that in my brain, I have a hard time accepting that David Quessenberry is still a good player. And it's one of those things. It's like, if I say this a lot. It's like if you judge a book, or you can judge any book you want. I don't care. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it's going to believe forever that it's an idiot. Well, David Quessenberry had to come in against the Rams on Thursday Night Football and just got absolutely smoked by Jared Verse. But if you assess, or if you judge a left tackle's ability to block Jared Verse, and that's what you decide if he's good or not, it's like, well, then everybody sucks, dude. They're all terrible. There's not one good left tackle in the NFL. If our only barometer here is can he block Jared Verse, nobody can, dude. So it doesn't make any sense. So I got to get that out of my own head, that just because I watched David Quessenberry just get absolutely embarrassed out there on the SoFi turf by Jared Verse, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's a bad player. All right. We used to say that about Aaron Donald all the time. It's like, oh, that guy sucks. He can't block Aaron Donald. It's like, dude, what? Nobody can. What are you talking about, dude? So that's definitely a part of it. But Quessenberry, solid depth as well. And obviously, I think that the situation of depth at tackle is going to be something that the Rams are clearly interested in investing in. Coleman Shelton, he's coming in, and he's already been confirmed as the starter at center. We've already heard that from Sean McVay. But Bo Limmer being there for depth after he had a really solid rookie season is really fun for me. I love that that we do get to see now a situation where Limmer has that experience. He's played a bunch of football games against some really, really good teams, and now he has to stand on the sideline and watch Coleman Shelton, an absolute monster in the center spot, that he gets to learn from him now. And he gets to come off the field and be like, hey, when you did this, what did you see here? When you called this adjustment, what was that? And they can go over that. So I think that Bro Limmer out here, man, I think that he's in such a sick spot I realize that the 25 season is probably not going to be a Bo Limmer season. Most likely not, okay? But I also understand that 26, 27, 28, each of those individual years might be sick Bo Limmer seasons, man. And I think that we heard from Sean McVay that the miscommunications up there up front on that final drive in the Rams' final 2 plays of offense this last season, miscommunication was the downfall there. So yeah, Coleman Shelton is going to be the starter. But again, nothing negative to say about Bo Limmer. He came in as a rookie and was playing against one of the better teams in the Super Bowl champions. I mean, come on, man. So there is some leniency there, no matter how many pieces my heart got shattered into when that ball sailed over Puka Nacua's head and out of bounds. Either way, man. So I think that Bo Limmer's in a really, really good spot. And a lot of the Rams' success this season really comes down to how good this offensive line plays in continuity. It doesn't necessarily mean that if we lose a guy here or something happens here that it's all going to fall apart. But that continuity, if somebody goes down in week 2 and we have somebody then fill in for the rest of the season, by week 8, 9, 10, then we're going to start to feel that rhythm in there, and then we'll be okay. Because I think, honestly, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Rams fan, but you look down this list, even your Warren McClendon, your Dylan McMahon, your Justin Dedich, your A.J. Arcuri, who's been around for a while now, KT Leviston coming in last year from Kansas State. I think that these guys are really good. Like, we have some really, really solid depth here. Just a lack of experience. So you get that experience in there, and good things happen, man. Good things happen on football fields, and that's what we are here for. Let's move over to the tight end spot. Really interesting position grouping here. We'll start with Tyler Higbee. We have Colby Parkinson, Davis Allen, and Terrence Ferguson. The Rams love their white dude tight ends, man. That is very much a thing. Big Rig Higgs is expected, or should be expected, to start the season, I would say. But there is growing speculation that Ferg is the kind of guy that could unseat Tyler Higbee in that role. How long will that take? Not really sure. Is this going to be one of those situations where, Tyler Higbee came in the 2016 season, man. This is year 10 for Big Rig Higgs. Not necessarily saying that he's on his way out or got a foot out the door or anything like that, but the time is coming. And Terrence Ferguson seemingly has all of the tools to absolutely crush it at the tight end spot. And he seems like he fits into the Rams offense exceedingly well. And also, let's not forget that the Rams tend to use tight ends in a way in their offense that just does well. So as long as you're catching footballs and can break one tackle, you're going to be a damn good tight end for the LA Rams. We saw that with Gerald Everett. We saw that with Kendall Blanton in the Super Bowl run. So yeah, if you can just hang on to the ball. That was Gerald Everett's problem. If he caught that ball, it was going to take 4 dudes to tackle him. But the chances of him catching that ball were like up in the air. So if Fergie, I don't know. I'm trying to nail it down, man. I gotta think of a better one than Fergie. That's so boring, man. But either way, as long as he can catch the football, man, make one guy's ankles spill its guts out on the floor, then I think we're gonna be looking A-okay there. And it definitely should be something that we see unfold as far as the season goes on, of like how that distribution is going. I, for one, love snap counts and snap percentages and stuff like that. That's something I look for after every game. It's like who's not playing, you know what I mean? Like who's in there? And I think we saw that last year, riding on the wall of a thing like Cooper Kupp, where a healthy Cooper Kupp was getting less snaps than a Puka Nacua. And it's like it's one of those things that I can look back on and be like, oh, that was a little bit of a hint. It was a little bit of a hint on what was coming, you know what I mean? So that's going to be one to watch out for. And as that season goes, if Higgs is starting at 80% and Ferguson closer to like that 30-40 range, and then that starts to kind of get a little closer, and we're looking at 60-60 in there, then I think that we could see a move coming up quickly after that. In one of those situations too, where maybe Higbee's still getting the starts, but Ferguson's still getting the bulk of the reps. That's absolutely possible as well. Colby Parkinson, by the way, could be an underrated player this season after his first year with the Rams. Was considered a bit underwhelming, considering his skill set. He's a very good player. Davis Allen as well. He's shown flashes throughout his time on the Rams and is at the very, very minimum, at the lowest level, a really, really good depth guy. At the very worst, he's a really, really good depth guy. And in fairness, I think he could start on some NFL teams. And last up here, wide receiver spot. So we got Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Tutu Atwell. That feels fake, right? That's still, I don't think it's hit me yet. I feel like I'm going to need to see Devontae, absolutely destroy a corner's soul until I'm really like, dang, Devontae Adams is on the Rams, bro. Whoa. But Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Tutu Atwell, the Tutu train, Jordan Whittington, Lil Witt, Xavier Smith, Akonate Mumpfield, Britton Covey, and Drake Stoops. The combo of Nacua and Adams is being talked about as one of the best combos in the NFL, and rightfully so. I, like many Rams fans, have absolutely nothing negative to say about Cooper Kupp, all right? Nothing negative to say about Cooper Kupp. Love Coop, all that good stuff. But I think we improved. I think that we got better at this spot by moving from Kupp to Devontae Adams. I think by week 2, we see exactly the impact that Devontae Adams has. And I know that we're in a situation, we start against, AFC team, all that stuff, 2 AFC teams. So it's a little bit weird and hard to really gauge it until we start seeing like division opponents where the offensive scheme understands the opponent a little bit more. We don't really play the Texans very often. We don't play the Titans very often. That game week 3 in Philly, though, that could be one where we see a bit of an explosion. We played Philly a lot recently. So that could really be the year the game that we're like, oh my gosh, Devontae is on fire out here, dude. But also Puka Nacua, future Hall of Famer Puka Nacua out here. I want to comment back. I think I said this last week as well, that I started saying that after his first game, all right? Future Hall of Famer Puka Nacua. Absolutely killing it out here. But I think that, by that week 2, week 3 range, I think that we're going to be like, holy moly, man. Devontae Adams is a football player. One of those, Not that we didn't think that he was, but still. A lot of fans seem to think that Adams is largely going to play that decoy role, and that while Puka just kind of thrives off of that attention going over to Devontae. But I think it goes game by game and what the defense is trying to take away. And Stafford's smart enough that I think that if somebody's paying attention too tightly to Nakua that you got 17 on the other side there. Find him because he's also an absolute monster out there. So absolutely got to find your guys there. Some teams will focus on Puka, and some teams will focus on Devontae. Some that do any teams have corners that can cover both these guys? I don't think so. But even in that case, I love our depth there. We got Tutu Atwell, we got Jordan Whittington. Man, I'm feeling really good about it. But let's be real. Who does have the corners to cover these two? Man on man. If we're at it's second and goal from the 3, and we put one on the other side, one on each side out wide, who gets the number 1 guy? How do you deal with that? Like, I genuinely don't know if anybody has that situation where they could man-on-man cover each of those guys. Because, I mean, at that point, dude, Stafford, just pick the matchup you prefer and launch that sucker, man. Launch the fade, score tuds. It's going to be awesome, man. But, yeah. Also, good depth, man. Tutu Atwell, like I had mentioned, I mean, obviously, his speed is the name of the game there, but he's also putting in a lot of work right now. We'll talk about that here in a bit, but I mean, there's no reason to think that Tutu Atwell's not going to have a good year. I mean, I'm at the point now with Tutu Atwell where if he doesn't come in and just absolutely just crush skulls, then that's a bit of a disappointment for me. I'll be honest. I feel really good about Tutu Atwell coming into this season. 1-year deal, fully guaranteed, and I feel like he's also in a position where he knows that if he absolutely balls out, he's getting money next year, dude. Whether that's from the Rams or the Chiefs is kind of where I see him going. I don't know why. Baltimore makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of teams out there that could use a guy like Tutu Atwell, but hey, he's with us right now, so hands off, dude. Back off, dude. The Tutu train is in L.A., man. Tutu train is in and stays in L.A. at least for 1 more year. Jordan Whittington, he seems to be the perfect play style for the Rams offense. It just the way he operates, man. It's very Puka Nacua to me. As far he does not that pure talent, and not to say that he's not good at football, but I mean Puka Nacua is out like he's an anomaly. You know what I mean? So, but he's got that same style. He's got the same energy to him too. So I think he fits in just absolutely flawlessly to the Rams offense. Definitely someone to watch for. Konate Mumpfield, low-key gives me Brandon Lloyd vibes. I don't know. The more I see, the more I kind of get that body fluidity movement and stuff like that. He uses his body so well. Definitely not as like wild as a Brandon Lloyd. A little bit more like not in like a way that this is supposed to be intended as a shot, but a little bit more stiff than Brandon Lloyd. And maybe that's actually a good thing. Brandon Lloyd was a little bit of a loose cannon. Loved that dude. Some of the catches he had, man, absolutely insane. But I get some of those vibes from Konate Mumpfield that he's just got that really good body control. Xavier Smith, who I don't feel like has truly had a chance to show off his skill set yet. Maybe this is a year where we kind of get him a little peppered into the offense a little bit more, and he can really shine because he's obviously a really talented player. We also have Drake Stoops and Britton Covey. They certainly have an uphill battle here simply because of the numbers game. We can only keep so many guys, you know what I mean? So that's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll, man. And they're sitting kind of on the low end there. But hey, anything is possible, and it's not like these guys are bad players at all. Covey could absolutely make his way onto the team as a return ace. I think that's absolutely realistic, and I think that the real situation with Britton Covey is not that he is in a position battle to get onto the field on offense. I think he is in a position battle for a returner, and I do think that impacts somebody like Xavier Smith as well. Something to keep an eye on as we get into the preseason and training camp stuff like that. So, either way, underrated battle to watch there as far as the returner goes, and just to kind of see how the Rams also deploy that spot. Is it going to be one of those things where they are getting their kick return work and reps in practice, so they don't want it in the preseason? We've seen that, I think, the last 2 years that they want to do that in-house. They're doing their practice there. They say let the ball go, get a touchback, we're good to go. We just want to see the offense out there. So that's a situation to watch there. So that is your offensive breakdown. And my recording just stopped, so give me just I'll be right back. Guess I talk too much or something. Probably, yeah. I talk all the time, dude. It's a problem. But either way, man, that's something to watch out for sure. Next episode, I should say. I don't know if it's gonna be next week or 2 weeks out. I'm not sure yet when I'm gonna start the weekly cycle, or if we're still gonna be on the every other week, at least through July. It's possible. I don't know, man. I'm jonesing though, man. This is my outlet, and I need it. So, but defense is going to be next. We'll kind of dive into that. Forgot to write it down. Joe Stradamus, man, making its return. As I have a few things that I think will happen. I'm forgetting one, which is very convenient. Let's see here. I think that my first Joe Stradamus pick here is actually going to be involving the tight end room. My Joe Stradamus pick is that one tight end, Colby Parkinson, gets traded. I do think that this is a very realistic situation. You have a team like the Miami Dolphins who just got rid of Jonnu Smith. Obviously, they brought in Darren Waller, but they have been in conversations for tight ends, and I don't think it's impossible to see Colby Parkinson head on out. And I forgot my other Joe Stradamus pick. I'm going to try to remember it. This is why I'm supposed to write things down. Okay? Steel trap. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out. We got news that's on the other side of this break. It's Ram Showcase. Welcome back in. This is Ram Showcase. My name is Sheriff Joe Bags. And as I was doing that, I remembered my other pick. That's so funny, dude. Oh, man. That's, oof. We tired out here, dude. We tired. But, hey, we're getting close to the season, which means no time to be tired. Time to get hyped. And speaking of hyped, I have another prediction as far as a starting position goes. I don't know if you'll agree with this. And actually tell me if you disagree with this. And tell me why, though. Don't just be like, you're an idiot. Give me some reason in here, man. Let's have a conversation in the comments wherever you can hear or see me, or at Ram Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags. Dude, hit me up. Let's talk about the Rams, man. I'm digging that right now. So my other prediction is that Ahkello Witherspoon does not get a starting job week 1, even healthy. Not that I have anything negative to say about Ahkello Witherspoon, but I do think that Darian Kendrick is talented and awesome enough to win that spot. I think that we go into season week 1 with D. Will, Darius Williams, and DK, Darian Kendrick, on the other side as our starters. But I think that Ahkello gets more than enough playing time. He's a really good player. And Kobe Durant is a guy that I'm kind of seeing is going to spike as well. We'll talk about that position group a little bit more in depth next episode, but I do have my prediction here. My Joe Stradamus pick here is that I think Darian Kendrick is going to be the starter again. He was a starter 2 years ago before he got hurt, obviously. Last year went out like week 1 of training camp, which is so unfortunate with that torn ACL. And now he's back on a different deal, a little bit of a rework deal. I don't have those numbers, and I do think that could give a bit of a hint on how the Rams plan on utilizing him, but I haven't seen those yet. Because it could be one of those situations, too, where it's like, well, on that contract, there's no way. Or it could be like, on that contract, dude, obviously. You know what I mean? So there's all that. Let's go ahead and get into the news, though. The NFL Top 100 list is starting to come out, and it's a lot more underwhelming than it has been in past years. I feel like this used to be a super hype thing. It used to be like an event. Like every week, it would like air in prime time on NFL Network, like leading into the season. And then we'd be like, oh, man, this guy got it, this spot here. He's 93 and stuff like that. And first of all, if you're in the 90s, you're still such a sick player, man. All right. So, like, I think that people are like, oh, man, that guy's 24 and this guy's 36. That guy's a loser. And it's like, well, no, there are so many players in the NFL, dude. That's only 100 players doesn't even make up 2 full teams, man. So what are we doing out here? So I would say the top 100, I miss when it was like a big deal. And I think the internet kind of ruined big deals. You know what I mean? Like, there's songs. I saw this thing that was like, this is the most streamed song of 2025 so far. I hadn't even heard of the song. I hadn't even heard the name of the song. So I was like, I'm out of this, man. But like, the internet makes it so everybody's lane is very much their own lane. And so if you don't care about the top 100, it's very easy to avoid. No Rams have popped in yet. I will say that much. But definitely some expected. I was trying to think about where Where's Jared Verse gonna fall in? Is he a top 100 player? I think so. And I would put the over-under. Dude, it's so hard. I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts on this. I haven't workshopped this with anybody yet, but I feel like he falls into the 60s, and that a lot of Rams fans are going to be mad about that. But coming in as a rookie and being in the top, 70 of the NFL players, that means you're such a badass. You know what I mean? So something to keep our eyes on for Jared Verse. I feel like he falls into the 60s this time, but then next year he's like top 15. I don't know why. That's like really sticking in my head. But yeah, Jared Verse, we'll see where he lands. I'm wildly curious, and I propose that to you. Where do you see Jared Verse slotting in on the top 100 list, if at all? Maybe you don't think he makes it. Next up, tight end Terrence Ferguson. He does remain the lone Rams draft pick yet to sign his contract. Ferguson stated that his first big purchase after signing his deal will be his rent in Los Angeles. Hilarious. And no word on if it's a negotiation hang-up or just slow timing. The Rams have been known for taking their time with rookie contracts. They don't just fire them off and get you under there. So I don't know, though. I don't know if it's like a guarantee conflict or anything like that. But the good news is we haven't heard that news. We haven't heard that, there's like Terrence Ferguson hasn't signed. What's going on? That's not becoming a situation right now, like a situation with like the Bengals or anything. So that's at least a good sign that it's not becoming an issue. It's very quiet right now. But I do think that it's July. We're getting to that point where the media, example, I'm doing it right now, is going to start talking about it. So Terrence Ferguson not under contract yet. We will see what happens. Rams release wide receiver Quintez Cephas. This news came and went quietly, so no real explanation or word on what the Rams will do with the open roster spot, which they do have a few of right now. Just a heads up, so we could see some new Rams pop in. My next story here, I had the whole Jalen Ramsey, there's no updates, what's going to happen? But then, obviously, the Rams officially out on the Jalen Ramsey sweepstakes as Miami trades Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, and a pick to the Steelers for Minkah Fitzpatrick and a pick. Based on the trade, it makes total sense that the Rams did not participate in this action. Minkah returns to the Dolphins, and the Steelers like to pay more money to their defense, while TJ Watt still waits for a new deal. The Rams' Super Bowl aspirations did not hinge on Ramsey, but there's absolutely no denying his talent. No matter what any of these publications are trying to spin the trade into for the Rams have a hell of a roster, and it was never dependent on Ramsey whether this team was going to be a legitimate contender or not. Yahoo and Sports Illustrated, they're trying to make it a big deal, like, oh, Rams missed out on Ramsey. Guess they're bums now. And it's like, well, it's not really true, you clickbaiters over here. But also, let's not forget that, he's on the back end of his prime. Okay, yeah, I wanted Ramsey back for sure. Jalen Ramsey's so dope, dude. But he's on the back end of his prime. He's getting to that spot now where it's like, hey, stack up your cash, man, and have a good time doing it. You go on to the geriatric Steelers over here, which is cool, man. That's awesome. That's good. The Steelers, I respect their history. I have zero negative to say about Pittsburgh and the Steelers and stuff like that. But I think that it's a little bit crazy to see the reports and these publications come out and be like, oh, the Rams, they missed out on Ramsey. Better luck next time, I guess. Better luck in 26 or something. And it's like, well, relax, guys. Everything's going to be fine. But would the Rams have been helped by Jalen Ramsey returning? Yes, I do think so. But are the Rams hopeless now that he's a Steeler? Absolutely not. My personal prediction is that we do see a Rams-Dolphins trade. But I'm going to guess that it's tight end Colby Parkinson. Boom! Joe Stradamus additional pick in there. Not only do I think Colby Parkinson gets traded, I do think it's to the Dolphins. It's not necessarily, though, like that's not like my only place that I think he could go. But I do see Colby Parkinson as a very, very much a tradable player, I would say. But hey, won't be mad if he sticks around. Quarterback battle! Yeah, man, we're getting into it. We have a position battle at the quarterback spot, the most important position in the game, dude. So there are thoughts that Stetson Bennett's slot as QB3 for the Rams is up in the air with the addition of quarterback Dresser Wynn. Wynn and Bennett will likely get the bulk of the reps in the preseason, but it's still unclear if this is a true position battle or if the Rams are just interested in adding someone like Dresser Wynn, who's been with us before, familiarity with the offense heading into camp. Got to keep Nine's arm feeling real smooth, dude, real smooth. Because as long as he can do some of these, we're going to be okay, man, going to be okay. Speaking of quarterbacks, former Rams quarterback Jared Goff is going into his 10th season. Wild. That's crazy to me. I got a text about that, and it was like, dang. That was it. That was my only reaction, was a little bit of a lean back, scrunched eyebrows, and said, dang. That's the extent of that. But either way, he did appear on the Netflix series Quarterback, and Goff detailed his emotions with the Lions, mentioning that it's nice to feel wanted, leading many Rams fans to poke fun at the quarterback who couldn't put the number one offense in the league into the end zone in the Super Bowl. We love Jared Goff for what he did, absolutely, but I do feel like it's time to stop the "they didn't want me" card. I think it's over, man. You're going into year 5 with your new team. You're too old to be doing this now, man. A 10-year vet being like, "they didn't want me." Get out of here, man. So I love Jared Goff. I root for Jared Goff still. Jared Goff is the man. We drafted him. It didn't work out. He went somewhere. It's working out, at least somewhat. Enough with the pity party, dude. You're in a good spot. Leave us alone, man. Stop with the whole like, oh, they didn't even like me over there. At least I feel wanted here. It's like, dude, you're going into year 5 with your new team. Do that, dude. Get out of here, man. So I'm pretty over that. I'm pretty over the pity party that Jared Goff's trying to do. The sympathy card has got to stop. I mean, I already don't like the sympathy card when people try to pull that. When people try to make me feel bad about something, I immediately don't. You know what I mean? So I think that I'm pretty done with the Jared Goff pity party and the whole Jared Goff like, well, at least they want me. At least shut up, dude. Get out of here, man. Moving on. Papa Puka Nakua is in a situation where with his girlfriend Haley, who is getting the courts involved in a custody case. This is more of a personal situation for Puka Nakua and will likely have zero impact on what happens on the field. The situation will surely have more updates, but this is probably the last one that I give. That's a personal situation with Puka Nakua. None of my business. And the Tutu train is a-rolling. Tutu Atwell reportedly getting some extra work in this what we refer to as the purgatory of the off season here, the abyss, the dungeon, the black hole of the off season, where there's not a lot going on right now, but people still getting to work. South Florida is the setting for the man going into his 5th season as Baltimore Ravens players Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, and Malik Cunningham spotted working out with Tutu Atwell in South Florida. Atwell has seen his numbers go up every single year, those receiving yards up every single year. And as he enters year 5 on a fully guaranteed deal, I mean, all expectations are that that's going to climb once again. Per McVay, the Rams have underutilized Atwell to this point in his career, and there's a wide belief that Atwell is going to truly explode. If he's going to truly explode, it's this season. And if it doesn't really happen this season, maybe it doesn't happen. But there's a lot of speculation, a lot of growing belief that if it's in him to really pop off and show the league what up with the Tutu train, it's going to come this year. So that's pretty cool stuff. With the 1-year deal, there is no word on whether this will be the last season the Tutu train is stationed in Los Angeles. But of course, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We got him this year, and that's all that matters. Stay in the present. The 2025 season is what matters. Matthew Stafford throwing the Tutu Atwell. Will that change next year? That's next year's problem, dude. And former Rams making some moves here. We have Tremaine Ankrum has been released by the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't think it's impossible he makes his return, but I would be surprised. And defensive end / linebacker Obanaya Okoronkwo released by the Cleveland Browns. So Obo back out looking for a new team as well. That is going to do it for your news. We got some pretty sick fan quesos. That's on the other side of this thing. These guys, I don't know. It depends on where you're listening to me. If you get like commercial breaks or just Aaron Donald throwing people to the ground. We'll be right back. It's Ram Showcase. Welcome back in Ram Showcase. I am Sheriff Joe Baggs. Pulling up my fan quesos that I forgot to do before I hit record. So we just chilling, man. Ram Showcase .com. Be sure to check that out. And again, if you are looking for an outlet, dude, you want to spill some Rams thoughts onto the world, then hit it up, man. It's pretty cool stuff there. So we're going to start on the Facebook page here. Oh, we just got one coming from the Facebook page. This one coming from Gary, longtime Rams fan, longtime Ram Showcase listener, and longtime awesome dude. Gary says, what do you realistically expect from Jarquez Hunter in 2025? I love this question because I think a lot of people are forgetting that we have a lot of really good backs. And it's not that Jarquez Hunter is like a bad player by any means, but for him to come in and have like a major impact in year one, I'm not sure if we necessarily see that. I think that by the end of the season, he'll be getting more reps than early in the season. But I think we start, like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jarquez Hunter get 0 carries for the first 5 weeks of the season. I don't think that's out of the question. We also got to remember that the Rams typically kind of onboard their rookies a little bit slow. They kind of have a path that you have the exceptions. Jordan Fuller started at safety pretty early. He was playing a lot. Puka Nacua absolutely destroyed the soul of Seattle in his first game in the NFL. It definitely happens. We do have guys that do play early, but it's not always. And you have a situation where you have a player coming into a position group that has Kyren Williams and Blake Corum already. I just don't think it's realistic to say that that Jarquez Hunter is going to absolutely light it up and go off year one. I think that we'll see flashes. I think the best way for me to say it would be, I think that we see a similar year this year for Jarquez Hunter that we saw last year for Blake Corum. I think that that's totally realistic. That it's going to be pretty similar. That like there's a lot of hype, and then it's I don't want to say underwhelming, but like people kind of move on from the thought of it being crazy. You know what I mean? So I think that that's absolutely something to watch for. We do have a decent amount here on the YouTube channel. What up? I wasn't getting notifications on these. Hell yeah. Cool stuff. All right, we're just going to go down the list here. Ooh, I like that last question too. Okay, we're going to go down the list here. So first few here coming from Payo Time. Payo Time Rams YT. Check him out there. Rams Radar with Payo Time. That's the YouTube channel. Definitely check it out there. He does watch parties and stuff like that. So if you're like looking for a game day environment, that's the place to be. I'm sure I'll do that eventually at some point. Hopefully one day working for the Rams, because that's the goal, But I would say that right now I'm a fan still, and I definitely take Sunday game days to be a fan still. But I will say I do want to bring back my live streams this year. I think that'll make its return as I'm heading out, going to catch some football games. I'll probably do live streams again. Either way, Bayo time. Tough question warning. Oof. All right, let's see. Would you rather be given a VIP game experience to a Rams home game of your choice? Meet the players, coaches, locker room access, food given to you, etc., or be given nosebleed tickets to every Rams road game of the year and get a hot dog and fries voucher? Solid. With travel expenses paid for. Love the show. Thank you. Dude, that's actually that is a hard question, man. You weren't kidding. Both wildly appealing. But if I have a chance to go to more Rams games, I don't care if it's nosebleed or like hot dogs and fries and stuff like that. I don't care, man. It's to me the football is the draw, and so if I can see more stadiums, get out and experience more stuff like that, I think that would be the route that I would go. But there would be something to be said about that VIP experience. Locker room access is major. That would be crazy awesome, man. They would like walk into the locker room and I'd be like wearing Steve Avila's jersey, looking like a toddler. They'd be like, get out. Should have picked the other one, dude. Should have picked the other one. Good stuff. Yeah. Maybe can I pick one year and then the other the next year? Is that allowed? Because if I won't do that. But I want the road game one to be the one where we play 9 road games. All right. Do your thing, Payo. Make it happen. Make it happen. Next one here from Payo. If you had to trust a member of the current Rams team to get you a good deal on a used car, who would you pick? Love the show. Thank you again. To get me a good deal? Like, are they the salesman or are they like coming with me? Because if they're coming with me, no one's going to try to flex, especially no, like, dorky car salesman is going to be able to, like, try to flex on Jared Verse, right? I mean, I walk in with Jared Verse and be like, hey, this one's going for this much. And he's like, how much? One of those, you know? That'd be so cool. Or I just try to outswag them and bring Kevin Dotson. He's the coolest guy in the universe. So there's that part of it. If I'm trying to schmooze the sales guy, make him laugh and all that stuff, give me the land shark, dude. Kobe Durant. There's so many options here. Puka Nacua, too, would be just like one of those where they'd be like, they would just be so thrilled that Puka Nacua is there. There's that part, too. Good questions, man. Good questions. But yeah, I think I would go Jared Verse for intimidation factor, which also you get with Kevin Dotson, too. It's not like he's a small dude who's not, you know, mean as hell on a football field. But he's also got maximum swag. Pinnacle swag, dude. Top tier. It's the top of the pyramid, man. That's where Kevin Dotson's swag is at, man. Always. Next one here. What is the most random, strange piece of Rams merch that you own? Underwear? Shower curtain? Soap? Is there Rams soap? I don't even know. I don't have any underwear. I have multiple pairs of socks, though. I've got a lot of Rams socks. I'm actually wearing some right now. You can see. All right. That was unnecessary. All right. Let's see. Maybe like I've got these coffee mugs I got from. Wait. Is it this one? And it's this one. Shaw's Customs. So I got those, which are pretty cool. My record is pretty cool. Oh man, that's a hard question. I'll look at all my stuff here. I want to put a pin in that, dude. I need to think about it. Koozies and stuff, man. Yeah, this is here. This is just chilling here. Yeah. My sheriff badges. Dude, those are up there for sure. I don't know, man. That's a hard one. I've got a lot of random stuff here. Random stuff. Nice. Anyway, moving on. This one comes from Ram's house. Whose house? Might need to change my battery here too. So if I cut off, sorry, I'll be right back. But either way, with the Ramsey news breaking this week, a lot of Rams fans are discussing who the CB1 is of this team. While Akello and Darius are great, I think a lot of people are maybe overlooking Kobe Durant and the year he could have. Your thoughts? Solid. Okay, I kind of talked about this. But I think CB1 is Darius Williams. I don't think that's really any competition. I think a CB1 is for sure D-Will. He's a killer out there. He's a top guy. Skill-wise, I think he's our best guy. Maybe Darian is also skill-wise up there. And I know that a lot of Rams fans feel certain ways about Darian Kendrick, but he's a risk taker for sure, but also so was Janoris Jenkins. You know what I mean? So was, Champ Bailey. You know what I mean? So, it happens, whatever. But I think that people have a few plays in their head when they think of Darian Kendrick, when if you watch, the All-22s, he's absolutely shutting dudes down for bulk of the game. But then one time he tries to jump a route and they burn him, and everybody's like, this guy sucks. It's like, well, he's been on fire all day, dude. Corner and offensive line, you can do your job perfectly 99% of the time, absolutely flawlessly. That 1%, you make a small mistake, and people are like, get this bum out of here, dude. That's wild to me. So I would say he's an underrated one. But Kobe Durant, you're absolutely right. He is in a position right now going into this year where he might be the top guy. He might be, numbers-wise, our top guy. He really might be absolutely murdering souls out here. So I think that Akello, I don't think would be a CB1. Simply his contract situation and stuff like that. I just don't think that he's better than Darius Williams. Love Akello. I have nothing negative to say about Akello. He's a really, really solid player, man. And especially a guy to have in your locker room and stuff like that. Obviously, Akello's awesome. But I think that we got a little bit of a logjam of guys that are very, very good, but who rises up out of that? You know what I mean? So that is a tough question, man. But I know there's a lot of discussion, and it seems like no matter which Rams fan you talk to, everybody's got their own thoughts on who's going to do what and stuff like that. So I'm going to change my battery real quick. I'll be right back. All right, hopefully I'm not weirdly out of focus now for the rest of the show. The screen that I have is that big and really far away. So I need a monitor or something. We'll figure that out. We'll get there. When I grow up and become a real podcaster, we will do that. Next question here coming from Nathan A. Manning. Says, if the Lions win a Super Bowl this year, did they win the trade after all? Ooh, good question. And no. And only because you say it that way. You say, did they win the trade after all? I think that both teams have already won the trade. No matter what happens from here on out, both teams have already won the trade. The Detroit Lions have built the best team in franchise history. Whether they win a Super Bowl ring or not, that stands true. This is the best the Lions have ever been, and that was largely because of the trade. The Rams moved back to Los Angeles, had a couple of years where they were kind of building it up and stuff like that, and then made the trade, won it all. You win it all after losing it just a few years before, and then you have a Super Bowl championship in your own venue, in your city that you are back in, where a lot of people already kind of believe that that's where you're supposed to be in the first place, who never had a Super Bowl win there. So I think that the Rams won the trade year one. I think that the Lions won the trade a couple of years into it because now, like I said, this is the best they've ever been. And I realize that everybody wants a winner and a loser of every trade and stuff like that, but it's like, I mean, I thought that the Rams won the RG3 trade. And then you look at the players that the Rams got out of that trade, and it's like, oh, nah, probably not. But also, what the hell did RG3 do? You know what I mean? So he's just out here, like he had a solid rookie season, then kind of dwindled down, injuries and all that stuff. And then now he's just like a media guy who I think says too much, who kind of, I think, is actively trying to stir the pot and stuff like that on certain topics and stuff. So who won that trade? At the time, the Rams looked like they fleeced them. And then we can look back on that trade now and be like, not really. I think both teams lost that trade, in fairness. This trade involving Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, I think that both teams have already won the trade. And I don't think anything from here on out will change that, in my mind at least. It's already happened. Both teams have already won. So if the Lions win the Super Bowl, they'll definitely they'll tell us that they won the trade. Their fans are going to come out on social media and be like, "See, we won the trade." And it's like, dude, you guys did what we did years ago. Thanks for catching up, dude. So I think there's that part of it. But yeah, I think it. I understand everybody wants a winner and a loser of every situation, but I think that in this situation, there's just two winners. I think it worked out for both teams. So no, ultimately, is my answer to your question. Next one here from Nathan. How many seasons can Sean McVay end the season? Hold on. End a season on a loss before he's on the hot seat. What do you mean? How many seasons can Sean McVay end the season on a loss before he's on the hot seat? Are you talking about like losing in the playoffs? Because he's made the playoffs 6 times. 75% of the seasons that he's been the Rams head coach, he's been in the playoffs. 6 times. And the Rams in St. Louis entirely made the playoffs, 5? Missed the playoffs for 12 straight years. He's been here for 8, and we've made it 6. He's not on... His seat is perpetually on cool mode, dude. He sits on ice. You know what I mean? Like he's got hemorrhoids, dude. He's sitting on ice. Yeah, I don't think that's I don't think that's the case. Especially you look at like the way that the season ended last year. The Rams are the only team that even gave Philly a fight. Year before that, I mean, that's you run into that situation, that storyline of the Lions, and lost by 1. In fairness, let's not pretend like that game couldn't have gone either way. But you ran into one of the best feel-good stories in NFL history of the Detroit Lions getting their first, home game in my lifetime, home playoff game in my lifetime, and it happens to be against the quarterback they traded away and won a Super Bowl in year 1 with his new team. It was kind of the perfect storm of just like, yeah, they're going to win this game. I hated that. I hated that we had to play the Lions. I hated all of that because it was like going into that game, I wasn't going to tell anybody or say anything out loud, but it was, and because I did feel like the Rams were the better team. I felt like we could have, would have won. But again, it was like that storyline. It was like, this city is going to be so crazy. This is going to be one of those, like I was talking about, is like we're probably going to see Ford Field be as loud as that NFC Championship game in New Orleans where we can't hear a dang thing. It's just going to be one of those situations. And they came to play. They had a good day, and they won. So, I mean, if you look at just those last two, I don't think so. And also, been to a Super Bowl, won the NFC twice, won a Super Bowl. I mean, I again, like he's got hemorrhoids, Sean McVay sits on ice. Kind of like that. Put that on a shirt. Rams house. Whose house? I said, would it be like having Kyron Williams as a coworker? I think Kyron Williams is all business, dude. And I, at work, at jobs I don't love, am not that way. I don't know, man. Well, if we worked for the Rams, he does already, but if I worked there too, it'd be all business too, man, because that's like the only thing I care about. The Rams are the only thing I've ever truly loved. My cat, he's over here. He's sleeping on my shoes. He does that. Love him. And love the Rams. Love my mom. That's and my niece is my favorite human being in the world. I absolutely love my niece. She's the best. But yeah, it'd be all business, man. Which if we're working for the Rams, then that's a-okay. If it's working for anywhere else, it's a problem. Because I want to joke. I'm gonna be a jokey jokester from Jokeville, Jokey McJokerton, and that's just the way it's gonna be, man. So he would get annoyed with me, is what I'm saying. Let's see here. Next one here from Nathan A. Manning again. Why do I want Cooper Kupp to score 7 touchdowns on 23 passes for 444 yards when he plays against the Rams this year? No idea. I hope he sucks against the Rams. I hope he's terrible. I hope he drops a bunch of passes. I don't hope injury or anything like that because I love Cooper Kupp. But no, I'm a Rams fan, first and foremost. Players come and go. The Rams are forever. I don't hope anybody does well against the Rams. I don't care. I don't care about your fantasy team. I don't care about former Rams playing against the Rams. I want them all to do terrible. I want the Rams to win football games, and everybody else can go die. I don't know, man. That's how I feel. To score 7 touchdowns on 23 passes for 444 when he plays against the Rams, I can't relate to that emotion, man. I really can't. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'll never tell you that you're being a fan wrong. Fandom is ultimately that. It's your own. You can handle that however you feel. I know people who are just player fans. I know people who are who will live and die on their team winning or losing a game. I'm looking at you Broncos fans. Y'all need to relax, all right? But I would say, yeah, Cooper Kupp against the Rams. I don't want anybody to do well against the Rams. I don't care who you are. I don't care if my nephew plays for a team and they're playing against the Rams. I hope he sucks that day. I have a cousin who plays football. He's actually really, really good. He's going into year 2, but he had a redshirt freshman year. He's a linebacker. And for a small school, in fairness, Fort Lewis. But he's an absolute monster, dude. And if he's playing against the Rams, hope he sucks. Hope he misses a bunch of tackles. So I can't relate to that emotion, man. Again, not telling you you're wrong, but there is no instance ever where I would hope somebody would do well against the Rams. No, it doesn't exist. And last one here come from Rams house. Whose house? Most underrated / overlooked player from both the 2018 Super Bowl team and the 2021 Super Bowl team. This is a great question. That 2018 Super Bowl team is one I kind of feel like I need to try to remember better. I remember the year very well, but the Super Bowl I've watched every game multiple times. I'm in the middle of I'm doing 2-a-days right now on the rewatch of the season. I forgot that I always start and I usually watch a game, one game a week until we get to the season, and that's kind of how I control my insanity. But I wasn't doing that, and I was like, we have 10 weeks left. Crap, dude! It's like Rams played in what 20 games, 19 games last year. It's like I better get on this, dude. So I've been plowing through. Started that process of rewatching the season, which Tuna brought up, which is so funny to me. I have never thought about it this way. Tuna on the First and Tuna podcast, we have a Tuna and the Sheriff available audio version everywhere, Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff, but also live on the Ram Showcase Facebook page and the First and Tuna podcast YouTube channel. Check us out. But yeah, he had mentioned, he's like, it's so funny you treat it like a TV show. Like, I got to catch up on last season, so I'm not lost in this one. It's like, that's so funny, dude. Because I definitely treat it that way. It's like, well, I got to know, like, who ended the season hot that I need to be watching out for that I wasn't paying attention to, you know. But anyway, to answer your question, 2018 Super Bowl year, underrated / overlooked. I almost don't feel like this is the right answer. I feel like I'll be mad that I'll think of somebody else later, but I'm going to say C.J. Anderson. Obviously, the year that Todd Gurley was having, his 2017 into 2018 was unmentionable, dude. He's still in like top 5 from. He hasn't played since 2020, y'all, and he is still like a top 10 running back since he got drafted. That's crazy to me. I don't think I understood the real like how sick Todd Gurley really was until it was gone. So that's why I really try to I rein that in. It's like, you know, like with Matthew Stafford, I don't know how long we're going to have him, but we're going to talk about this Matthew Stafford Rams era for the rest of our lives. We're going to die talking about this stuff. So I'm just trying to soak that in again. But I'll say C.J. Anderson because we did get to the playoffs and there was that situation where Todd Gurley's knee was like, getting out of here, dude. So C.J. being able to be that guy, I think that was invaluable in that run. I don't know if the Rams make it all the way if without a C.J. Anderson getting it done. And I know that Todd and C.J. both had the 100+ against Dallas, but C.J. still in that game has one of my favorite moments, one of my favorite pictures in Rams history, where it's just him sitting on the Cowboys bench when he got pushed out of bounds. That's one of my favorites. I share that regularly when I'm just like in a situation where I'm with just a bunch of other fans. It's like, this is me. Like, one time it was with a bunch of Cowboys fans, and I shared that. I was like, yo, this is for real right now, man. Like, it was just me sitting in my Rams stuff surrounded by Cowboys fans. It was fun. But I would say C.J. Anderson for that one. I'm trying to remember if anybody else really sticks out to me from that season, but nothing's popping in my head right now. Marcus Peters was fun that year, dude. Holy moly. That week 1, that touchdown he got against the Raiders, dude, that was like, this year is going to be so much fun. It's you almost know, man. It's like, watch out against the Texans, dude, because we had it against the Raiders week 1 that year where Marcus Peters does that pick 6 celebration. We're all having a good time. We're high-fiving. We're like, yo, that was so sick. And then you get 21 season, which kind of leads me into this next one, where we get that 21 season where was it second play of the season that Stafford hits Van Jefferson deep for that touchdown, and it was one of those situations where Van was falling, catching the ball, and then realized he wasn't touched, so gets up and runs it in, and it's like, it's right then. That's when Thunderstruck starts playing, and it's one of those situations where it's like this year is going to be fun. This is going to be a good year. And, opposite end, let's go back in time a little bit here. I don't remember exactly the year, 13 or 14, no, it must have been 12, 11 or 12 maybe. Steven Jackson had a 47-yard touchdown run to open the season against the Philadelphia Eagles. And it was like, yo, this is going to be a fun year. But he strained his hamstring on that and didn't play again until like week 8. So it was like, dang it, man. Even further back in time. Let's even go further back. I don't know why this is triggering this memory. Chicago Bears week 1, where Orlando Pace tore his rotator cuff week 1. That was one of those where it's like, oh, cool. It's going to be one of those, you know? So, yeah, man, it's like, that week 1, I feel like is so telling for the Rams. If we destroy it week 1, that's going to be fun, man. Like, Sean McVay's first year, Indy comes to town at the Coliseum. I just remember LaMarcus Joyner getting that interception. He runs into the end zone and just keeps full sprint. That's so funny to me. I can't figure out why that's so funny to me, but it is. LaMarcus Joyner, what a name. I haven't said that name in a long time, but hope he's doing well, man. I wonder what he's up to these days. Anyway, underrated / overlooked player from the 2021 Super Bowl team. I'm going to go, again, playoff run situation, and I'm going to say tight end Kendall Blanton. We needed him, dude. We were down to just him, essentially, at tight end, and he was absolutely killing it, man. Rewatching that Super Bowl not long ago, I think I was 2 months ago, I rewatched that one, where just seeing him, just the effort level he was putting in on that game, it was like, this guy's a player, man. Like, at least he's here now and killing it. So, that was another one where it was just like, man, he is... I'm glad we got him as a backup. You know what I mean? Like, if it had to be somebody who isn't out here all the time, I'm glad it's Kendall, because he's absolutely killing it. He's on fire right now, man. Absolutely loved that so much. So I would say Kendall Blanton for the 21 and C.J. Anderson for the 18. Thank y'all so much for your fan quesos, man. We are getting into the rhythm here, man. So it is season 10 of Ram Showcase right now. Ram Showcase is coming in with the Tyler Higbee year. That's pretty cool. But I've covered the Rams for 14, 15 years now, something like that. I was writing before now Ram Showcase, so season 10 Ram Showcase. But this is about the time, man. We're in July now. I turn 34 next week. Oof. I mean, that hurt my feelings. I'm turning Chase Reynolds years old. Yo. I don't know why it's 34 that I came in my head. That's so funny. But either way, yeah, pumped about it, man. Season 10, and I'm not sure if we're getting into weekly or if we're still doing every other week, but that is the rhythm now. We'll be getting into every week here real soon as the season is creeping up on us, dude. It will be here before you know it. Listen to me now when I'm telling you that yeah, it's gonna be it's real close. All right, so be ready for it, man. Get your gear ready, all that stuff. Get your jerseys, going, and it's going to be a good time, man. But thank you again for your fan quesos. I always post on the YouTube channel as well as the Ram Showcase Facebook page if you'd like to drop your quesos for the future, and then have me answer them in the most long way possible. If you got a simple question you want me to ramble on about some nonsense and then eventually circle back around to your question, fan quesos, dude. Fan quesos. At Ram Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags, ramshowcase.com. That's where you follow along on the internet. But that is going to do it for me. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio and the Fan-Sided Network. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you who are Rams fans, thank you so much for watching, and go Rams.